All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. Um, like I mentioned last week, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to use my intro music anymore. I got the finger pointed at me by Facebook, so we're working on getting a new intro done that's going to be voice only. But we're waiting for Pete. He should be coming on anytime, I think. But our guest is here this evening. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only man on fire, Chase Fahnstock. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Good. You're having a hell of a year, buddy.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty good year so far. I really can't complain a bit. Really not at all what we were expecting to come out and win 3 races, something we've never done. So yeah, it's been a good year.
Very cool. Now, kind of following out throughout the year, you're going to run obviously the entire Mid Atlantic Series like you normally do? Are you going to continue to run the divisionals and maybe a national here and there as well?
Yeah, we're planning on hitting the remainder of Rob's races, the Mid Atlantic .90 Association races, and we'll hit Atco Divisional. We'll see how that goes. Maybe look into New England, but we'll do Maple Grove's national event and possibly Virginia's divisional as well, and maybe the Open at Maple Grove at the end of the year. So just something to cap off the year.
Very cool. Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's start with race one of the Mid Atlantic Series. How did the season kick off for you? I mean, obviously you've had a stellar year so far, but let's dive into it a little bit more.
Well, the first race kind of started off a little rough. It definitely didn't start out the way we had hoped. We go into the first qualifier, make a stellar pass, and we were happy with it. As I'm coming back to get my ticket, the brake pedal sinks to the floor, and that's never a good thing. So, Dad and I kind of started tearing into it and figuring out what was going wrong, and couldn't see anything obvious, no fluid leaking. It's not like there was a line that was loose, cracked, broke, anything like that. So the only thing we could think was it was starting to boil the fluid. So we start adding fluid and bleeding all the old fluid out. And in the process of doing that, ended up breaking a bleeder off in the strange calipers that we have. So, we grab an easy out, we have them there. So grab an easy out and we drill it out. And as I'm trying to get the easy out to turn the bleeder out, it snaps off in the caliper as well. So now we have a bleeder and an easy out stuck in the brake caliper, and tried to get both of them out, but they ended up breaking off flush. So that's kind of we figured we were done. We kind of figured we were going to go home and just accept our loss and lick our wounds and come back fight another day. Fortunately, I asked around. Ken Moses had a spare brake caliper. We throw the brake caliper on, get everything bled out, and I'm pouring fuel in the car, and they're calling up for first round of Super Comp. So we missed the second qualifier, roll right into first round of the first race with one qualifier, and just happened to pull it out really. And I was cutting some pretty good lights, and the car was right where it's always been, and just kept going round after round. And then unfortunately had to run Ken Moses. I believe it was second round Saturday, and just it's always a great race with him, and I was on the winning side of it. It got to the point that we were almost able to do no wrong, and found ourselves in the final, and laid down a good run in the final, and came home with that win. So that was how it kicked off. But stuck our nose right back to the grindstone. Saturday evening, got the car ready for Sunday, and we again just really couldn't seem to do any wrong. Just kept going round after round after round, and cars just kind of kept falling our way, and we were getting the lucky breaks when we needed the lucky breaks, and ended up in a final again. So that time was against Rich Leone, and Rich Leone's no stranger to final rounds and no stranger to winning. And in years past, he's had my number. He has kicked my butt up and down, the Northeast Division all over the place. And it's like, well, we got to do it. So we just, again, just another great race. It really was. And came out on the winning side of that one too. So the season kicked off a little rough, but I think we capitalized the best way we could after that.
Awesome, awesome. And now moving on to the second race of the series, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we kind of figured we had a heck of a target on our backs, and it we knew we had the points lead going into it. We knew that everybody was gunning for us. But again, I have a hell of a car, and the car is able to run anywhere at this seems like. So I had that confidence. Was not hitting the tree at all in qualifying on Saturday. I was 30s, just not where I wanted to be. Looking back at my numbers at the divisional there at the beginning of the year, I should have been red and just couldn't cut a light. So I was like, all right, well, come first round, I gotta be there or I'm going home. So pull a bunch of numbers out of the box and just went out there swinging. And Saturday ended up getting down to 4 cars before the rain shut us down, and we had to move into Sunday to finish that race, and that put me up against Amanda Boychesko, and she's never a slouch. So unfortunately, in the semifinals, I was. So she got me on that one, and we were still able to make the semifinals, which isn't a bad showing. So at that point, our semifinal round was our time run pretty much at that point. So I go into first round, and I'm still loaded for bear, because I just had Amanda, and I was like, all right, we got to set up for a good run. And I left everything alone pretty much, and went into first round, and I come up against, former world champ John Asta in a 180 mile an hour door car in super comp. So knowing that, I knew I had to be on my A game, so I come out first round of Sunday's race. I'm 000, and back into him a little bit because he just wasn't on pace, and was able to put on a 92 or a 93, I believe. And then that that put me up against last year's Division One Super Comp champ Kevin Scholl, and him and I always seem to go back and forth, and it just always seems to be a good race. And he had me on the tree by a little bit, but we were able to put it dead on for that win. And then third round, we come up against Amanda again. And at this point, I'm getting a little worried because it's like she seems to be getting on a roll. So I told mom and dad she was just, I think, 6th out total in the second round. And I told mom and dad I got to set up perfect. I have to set up for a perfect run. And I did the exact same thing against, or set up the car the exact same way I had it against Asta. And I come out perfect again. And that's another thing I've never done. I've never gone perfect two rounds in the same day. And I was able to drop it and get behind her, and she broke out by a bunch, and I got lucky there. And semifinals, I have Rich Leone again, which no slouch whatsoever. So just I had a heck of a lineup on Sunday, to try to get around everybody, but again, cards just fell our way, and ended up in the final against Billy Loveland. And Billy's really been coming on here these last couple of years. He seems to be getting a pretty good handle on this super comp deal, and it's showing. He was spitting out 90s left and right, and was just on a tear. And I think he was 8th out total in the semifinals, and I knew that going into the round, and figured I was set up anywhere between 005 and 15 on the tree. And if I'm 15 and he throws down another 8th out pack, he deserves it. So I come up 14. Fortunately for me, he missed the tree again. He goes dead on, and I, back into him a little bit to be dead on too. But again, just a good race. Like I said, things just keep falling our way, and we get the lucky breaks when we need them. And I bail the car out when I need to bail the car out. The car bails me out when it needs to bail me out. And it just sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Very cool, very cool. So Cecil County, obviously, I would assume probably has a little bit of a special place in your heart now.
Yeah, a little bit. I I had a plan in my head at the beginning of this race season. I've been with my girlfriend Allie, now fiance, for a little over 2 years. And from the day I met her, so I decided this year. The last few years I've averaged a race win a year. What would be cool is if I could, if I win a race and she's there, ask her in the winner's circle. There's already people there with cameras, video cameras, all your friends are there. It would be cool if I could pull it off that I asked her in the winner's circle. And uh, we were at Maple Grove, and of course her dad came Saturday, and I asked her dad for her hand, and of course he said yes, and I still had yet to ask her mom, and I wasn't seeing her mom until the following week. I hadn't even taken the ring with me. I was like, I'm not even gonna tempt myself. And as if winning Saturday wasn't enough, I win Sunday. And I see her mom the following weekend, and I show her the ring, and she starts crying. And she asked me what my plan was. I said, well, to be honest with you, I wanted to do it in the winner's circle. I said, there's already people there, cameras, everything. I said, to me, that's what I would want to do. And she liked it. She liked the idea. And I said, here's my problem. I've never won more than 2 races in a single season. So I almost have to come up with a contingency plan because I've never done it. It's something I've never done. I have to come up with another idea.
Right.
We have a trip planned to Universal Studios in Florida in December. I was like, it might happen then. I don't know if I can wait that long, but that might be it.
You might have to wait till then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll start carrying it with me now that I have both of their consent to ask her. And if it happens, it happens. So I really wasn't expecting the next Mid-Atlantic race to come out and win another one. So I didn't even give myself enough time to come up with a contingency plan. I believe Cecil was one of the first weekends that Allie ever came to watch me race. So it worked out pretty well that, it was there that it happened. I like racing at Cecil County. Sometimes it can throw you for a loop, but I enjoy racing there, and it just adds to the memory and the reasons why we need to go back. So obviously, if nobody knows, she did say yes. So, but thank you. It was a good day, and to cap it all off, I asked my best friend to marry me. So yeah, just added to the excitement.
Very cool. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, looking at the points for Mid-Atlantic .90, you are in first place at 368 points. You have just a tiny itty bitty little lead over John Martin by 150 points. He's got 218 points. So that must leave you pretty confident for the rest of the season, though. I mean, yeah, things can happen, but
yes, it is a very comfortable lead. I mean, extremely comfortable. But I also know a lot of things can happen in 6 races. The first year that I won the championship in Rob's series, I had won Maple Grove, and then I had won Atco and runner-up Atco's second race. So I had 2 wins and a runner-up, and I had a couple guys call me and they're like, you won this thing. You won it. Nobody, anybody who's ever won 2 races in Rob's series goes on and wins a championship. And I was like, okay, cool. Here was my problem. The person in second and the person in third also won 2 races. So that's not exactly always how it goes. And, yes, we do have a very good shot at it. Don't get me wrong, but, anything can happen. Anybody can get on a hot streak. There's 6 races left. You get the person who's in second, John Martin, Amanda Boychesko, anybody who's up there in points comes out, wins, 2 races and maybe hits a final. They're in it. They have a shot. all I have to do is screw up. So, and we all know how racing is. You're a king one day and you're a pawn the next, and it's really it's how it goes. I could go to Atco this coming weekend and bomb both of them and lose first round both days. Somebody could slap a double O package on me first round both days. It's just how it is. So bottom line, we're just gonna keep having fun, keep doing what we're doing, and if that's the way it falls at the end of the year, that's the way it falls. So we'll see what happens.
Very cool. Well, real quick, I just want to check one other thing. I pulled up the points for the divisional side of the universe, and you're in what, 13th place in the division. So a little out of the top 10, not by much, but a little bit. But you're all in all, you can't complain about being top 15. What a lot of people say is probably one of the toughest divisions for the .90 cars.
Yeah, we're hoping to go a few rounds at ATCO. So far, we've bumped up a couple spots almost every race we go to, and to be honest with you, I haven't done much in division. So divisionals are tough. They are extremely tough. We've had a lot of rough breaks with how we pull in the staging lanes for first round, or who we might get paired up with second round. You seem to always, you pull up and you're up against one of the heavy hitters, one of the guys who's capable of top 10. And, not that I don't think we can beat them, because we have, but it makes it tough. You never know which way those races are going to fall. And lately, it seems with the divisional races, it's fallen the other way. And again, that's just the way it goes. Hopefully, ATCO, we can turn it around. We got to the third round at ATCO beginning of the year. We got to the semis at the Open at the beginning of the year of the divisional and the Lucas Oil Series. So I'm confident that we can at least get a couple rounds under our belt at ATCO as Division One race. And if that's the case, hopefully bump us up a couple more spots and give us a reason to maybe go to Virginia towards the end of the year and hopefully knock out that other first round loss and maybe break the top 10. That's something I've never done. It's something I've always shot for. Have just always been right outside it. It's tough. It really is. And with fuel prices the way they are right now, we're not going to travel to Vegas or anything like that chasing after divisional points. So
Right.
it is tough. But I'm pleased with a top 15, even a top 20 finish in the division, because it's cutthroat out there. It really is.
Well, congratulations on everything so far.
Thank you.
How about the people that help make your program successful?
Well, first off, mom and dad, they bend over backwards for me. They really do. Dad, well, they're both retired now, so it gives Dad a little more free time to kind of play around and do stuff and take care of things that maybe he put on the back burner whenever he was working. And he's kept everything pretty much tip top shape and ready to rock and roll for us every weekend. And Mom always makes sure we're fed. She takes care of all my numbers. She enters everything in the computer, the logbook. And for me to figure out what to do with the car, it's all right there. So thank you to both of you. I love you both. And we really pulled together so far this year, the team, to keep that car rolling. Also, Allie, my now fiance, she has really helped keep me, I think, a little more level-headed over the last few years, and I believe it's shown quite a bit. It's nice to have someone outside the sport kind of make you realize what you might be doing wrong or right or whatever, and kind of tell you like, hey, look, maybe you need to try this, maybe you need to do that, and maybe you just need to take a vacation every once in a while. She's helped a lot, and also Annabelle, our Great Dane. She's at every race with Allie, and if Allie's at the racetrack without the dog, Allie hears about it. So the dog has created a name for herself. Everybody knows Annabelle. So thank you to both of them as well. I absolutely love when they're at the racetrack, and kind of keep me a little more calm when they're there. Don Miller, DWM Inc., my main sponsor, the guy that's known me since day one of my racing career. He has just given me everything that I possibly could want racing. He makes sure that we're able to get to the racetrack. He makes sure I have an engine that's as good as he can possibly give me, and it is. It's a badass piece. So thank you, Donnie, for everything that you do. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. So Glick Fire Equipment, I'm an employee at Glicks, and they're great people to work for. They love racing, and they've supported me now, I think, for 4 years. And every year they step up a little bit more and a little bit more, and it helps a lot. It just keeps us going, kind of frees up our wallets a little bit to maybe improve the car, do this to the car, do that, and make it better. And I think that's starting to show too. We've done a lot of upgrades, thanks to them. And the car is maybe not an American or a Miller or anything like that, but it's a very good car. And then Mickey Thompson tires. Mickey Thompson's been with us for I don't know how many years, and they make sure I have the best tire on that car every year. Even with changing hands, of course, everybody knows about the big sale last year. They're still with us. They're still supporting us. They're still backing us. Those guys are awesome. They're friends. I can text them. They'll text me back. We're always talking with each other, and it's nice to have them, really backing us up. So thank you to all my sponsors. You guys are awesome.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, Chase. Like I said, you're having a knockout year so far, and the best of luck in the rest of 2022.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you at New England, my friend.
Okay, we'll shoot for it.
All right, buddy. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too, Chris.
All right. Take care, Chase.
See ya.
All right. Chase Fahnstock, our guest this evening on Racers News Network Live. Have an amazing year at the Mid-Atlantic .90 Series. And while we're talking about the Mid-Atlantic .90 Series, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't go through the updated points for all three classes. We're going to hit the top 10 Mid-Atlantic .90 Association Super Comp. Of course, we're talking to our points. We just talked to our points leader so far. Chase Fahnstock in first place. John Martin in second. Rich Leone and Amanda Boychesko tied for third. Fifth, Ash Senf. Number 6, Kathy Smulligan. Number 7, Billy Loveland. Number 8, John Bruzo. Number 9, Don Bangs. Number 10, Jeff Levisi Jr. Super Gas, again, still for the Mid-Atlantic .90 Series. In first place, Derek Clark. Number 2, George Smith. Number 3, Rich Price. Number 4, it's a tie, George Stack and Bob Keister Sr. Both tied at 188 points for fourth place. Number 6, George Donhauser. Number 7, the Jakester is actually tied with, points-wise, he's tied with Charlie Yannetti. Jake Barbado and Charlie Yannetti both have 175 points. Jake is in 7th place, and Charlie is in 8th place. Number 9, Rick Mattioli. Number 10, Don Miller. Moving on to Super Street for the VP Racing Fuels Mid-Atlantic .90 Series. Excuse me, Mid-Atlantic VP Racing Fuels Super Street class. Pardon me, my bad. All right. If anybody is surprised by this, in first place in Super Street, Keith Mayers. Number 2, Jay Neville. Number 3, Dom Borghese. Number 4, Tom Mueller. Number 5, Dave Nahill. Number 6, Darren Mattern. Number 7, actually it's a tie for 7th, Scott Lang and Ed McLeaf, tied for 7th, both at 155 points. Number 9, a multiple-time guest on Racers News Network Live, Carly Wolf. And number 10, Sean Lanigan. Congratulations, everybody, so far this year, and best of luck for the rest of the year. Unfortunately, I'll be missing out on one of my favorite events. Of course, Uncle Buck's Pig Roast coming up in just a matter of weeks at Cecil County. All right, so now we have results from national event at Sonoma this past weekend. It was the first time that 3 women have qualified number 1 in a NHRA event. Of course, I'm talking about Top Fuel was Leah Pritchett. Pro Stock Bike was, actually, let me move on to Pro Stock Car, Erica Enders. And Pro Stock Bike was, I'm having a moment. Angel Sempe, thank you. There we go. Having a moment. That's all right. So, your winners from this weekend's Sonoma NHRA national event. Top Fuel, Brittany Force over Mike Salinas. Salinas has also been on a roll. I'll have to check the points on that when we get a few minutes. Funny car, New England native Bob Taska III in his Ford Mustang took out John Force in the Chevy Camaro. Pro Stock, Erica Enders on a roll this year, defeated Greg Anderson. Pro Stock Bike, with his first win, Joey Gladstone defeated Eddie Craywick. Comp Eliminator, Jim Cowan in his Chevy Cobalt over Joe Moziris. Super Stock, Jody Lang over Kyle Rizzoli. Stock Eliminator, Justin Jerome over Brian Phillips. Super Comp, Tanner Theobald over Toby Payne. Super Gas, Evan Kowalski over Bo Hicks. Top Sportsman, presented by Vortex Superchargers, Richard Okerman defeated Michael Henry. Top Dragster, again presented by Vortex Superchargers, Thomas Bear defeated Melissa Murphy. So congratulations to all our winners from this past weekend at the national event in Sonoma. If you will all give me just a moment, I'm going to look up the results from the Northeast Super Street Association, who ran in the sweltering heat this past weekend. At Lebanon Valley Dragway. Let's All right, race number 1 on Saturday, straight line performance qualifier was Jim Schmidbauer. The win goes to Tony Bonilla. Runner-up, Will Beach. Tony also took the bounty money because he doubled up. Congratulations, guys. Great job in the heat. Absolutely. It was over 100 degrees at my house in New Hampshire. Sunday, straight line performance number 1 qualifier was Paul Paniza. And your winner was Mike Falcone. And runner-up for the first time, runner-up was first-time Super Street racer, Billy Blaker. Mike also took home the Racers News Network 1090 with a 0 money. So congratulations to everybody there. Also this past weekend, up in the state, just the country just north of me, at Napierville, they had their annual open event. In Stock on Saturday, Kelly McKay over Wendell Howe. It was a combo race. And on Sunday, it was again I believe it was a combo race. Renee Goslin over Kelly McKay and Stock Eliminated. So congratulations to all the winners from Napierville National Open this past weekend. And real quick, let me see if I can pull up the results from the classracer.com event at New Media. Please bear with me for just 1 second. I know Allie Dahl won the big check on Saturday. And looking for Sunday. May have to go back a page. Bear with me for just a moment. I know the entries were down by about 50%, but of course we have fuel, parts, and everything else going on in the universe right now. It's kind of not much of a surprise. Let's see, bear with me, please, for just a moment. Dean Mallory over Eric Campolito. So congratulations to Dean. So like I said, unfortunately, the entries were down for the ClassRacer.com event at New Media, but there were also a lot of great sponsors for that event. Again, bear with me for 1 sec. I just got to go back to that page. It's tough in this economy with everything going on business-wise, personal-wise, parts-wise. It kind of starts to sound like a bit of a broken record. All right, I just saw it a second ago. All right, all the sponsors who helped make the ClassRacer.com event possible: PC Richards, Gold Rush Trailers, Weldon Performance, ATI, Biondo Racing Products, Holly, Jegs, Molly, Weldon Performance, Portatree, California Car Covers, IRC, Dan Fletcher Trailer Sales, and Sapanic Racing Transmissions. And then the racers that actually help support the series as well by throwing gift cards or cash into it. Of course, Oaks Landscaping, Gutters by Design, Thomas Dairy Queen, SDS, and Finish Line Mobile Detailing. So congratulations to all those great companies for being part of a great event. Hopefully next year, some sense of normalcy returns back to the racing universe. So we've got Mid-Atlantic .90 coming up this weekend. We have the divisional event coming up, and then a lot of other great stuff going on in the universe. So best of luck to everybody that's going to be running this coming weekend. Hope you have a great weekend. Drive safely, transport your race cars safely, and we will talk to you all soon.